episode 10 of the Tropico. Thank you.
That both Ben and I are working towards financial freedom, and if we keep hustling, there is a good chance of reaching this within 5 years. To achieve this, we are each targeting a passive income of around 20 grand per year, so using the 4% safe withdrawal rate, it means we each need an investment pot of 500 grand.
At that point, we can live a basic lifestyle in perpetuity without worry. But we may then decide to keep going to millionaire status, but freedom will have been guaranteed. We both truly believe that we will eventually hit this basic freedom milestone, but there is one major obstacle which could derail it. This concern has grown recently as our business continues to expand and we creep closer to the finish line.
I recently read an article about a Star Wars voice actor who was left unable to speak after suffering a stroke. Although the guy is still very competent and very much himself, sadly he will likely never be able to do voiceover work again. It seems his ability to make a good income will be forever dented.
While this is extremely sad, it just highlighted the importance of achieving financial freedom quickly. But if financial freedom is still a few years away, then is there anything you can do to bring it forward or lock it in today? In this video, we're going to look at the actions that you can take to ensure that your financial freedom is achieved, so that even God himself can't stop you. Let's check it out.
Check it out.
Welcome to MoneyandChapman.com, the investment and finance channel and website that sets you and your finances free.
That was Andy and I'm Ben, and if you like what we say, hit the like button and subscribe.
Subscribe.
What is financial freedom? For those new to the channel or to financial freedom, let's quickly define it. We consider financial freedom to be the ability to never have to work a day in your life again. You can achieve this by building up investments or financial assets that will pay you enough income until you kick the bucket. As mentioned, our figure, and probably what most people want, is a 500 grand pot.
There are many ways to achieve this. One way is to earn a high salary and invest a substantial amount each month. Another is to start a business and grow it into an empire. Whichever approach you're doing, what happens if you lose your capacity to work? It's a very dangerous period between now and your financial freedom date. Only intelligence and hard work will allow you to win freedom. So assuming you have this, here's how you can ensure your financial freedom.
Insurance. We've never been the biggest supporters of insurance because on average you spend more on premiums than you receive back in cover. Generally, if you can afford to self-insure, then this will work out financially better for you. But some outlays are too significant to cover with your own savings. For example, a house burning down would likely financially ruin you, so get this insured. But for mobile phone insurance, just self-insure, which simply means to put money aside in a provision in case the worst should happen.
Perhaps the most significant cost to us will be to have our financial freedoms taken away by chance or misfortune. So we want to lock in our financial freedom today. Then whatever happens, we will never have to worry about money. To do this, we can use income protection insurance to bridge the gap
I've got enough
now and whichever
mines.
date we achieve financial freedom.
At that point, you can cancel the insurance, as sickness or injury would no longer financially ruin you. We've never seen any other financial independence devotee do this, so hopefully this strategy will be an eye-opener to most people.
Income protection insurance. According to the Money Advice Service, each year 1 million people in the UK find themselves unable to work due to a serious illness. Income protection insurance is designed to give you some cover if you can't earn an income for those reasons.
Surprisingly, it isn't that expensive considering the cover that you get. But nevertheless, we don't want to pay premiums for decades for something that we may never use. And just to point out the obvious, we don't ever want to have to use it either. We plan to only have the cover between now and the date we achieve the magic financial freedom number.
The level of cover you can get will vary, but generally, and what we're using it for, is to receive a payment based on a percentage of our current income until we retire at old age. As the state pension kicks in for our generation, 68, it makes sense to have the payout last until then, at which point the insurance payouts stop and the state pension and any of your private investments kick in.
Many income protection policies have a very short payment period of 1 or 2 years, for example. These don't make much sense to us for young people because they don't cover against long-term injury or illness. But remember, we're not financial advisors, so please do your own research and speak to a professional if you're unsure of anything.
What does it cost and what will I get? This really does depend on the level of cover that you want, but to give you an idea, we ran some quotes through a comparison site and also spoke to an insurance broker directly.
We asked them what payout a 32-year-old could get based on a current salary of 24 grand, which is about the average for a young UK worker. If you're self-employed, you will need to be able to prove your income. It can't be based on forecasts or wishful thinking.
We asked for the benefit period to last until age 68, and the longer this is, the higher the monthly premiums that you have to pay will be. The highest benefit amount was 65% of your earnings, meaning on a current salary of £2,000 a month, the payout is £1,300. Personally, we think the minimum for basic financial freedom is around £1,650 per month, which is £20,000 per year. So a payout of £1,300 falls just short of this.
Unfortunately, we're unaware of any insurance like this that will cover more than a set percentage of your current earnings. We assume this is because everyone would insure themselves for millions and then go throw themselves deliberately into a wall or off a ladder.
The good news is, and assuming this doesn't change how the insurance quote is calculated, you would only need a salary or income of around £30,500 to get a policy paying out £1,650 per month. The other important factor in this type of insurance is the length of time you have to wait before a claim is payable, known as the excess period. In this example, we opted for 90 days. The more you are able to wait, the more it reduces the amount you have to pay in monthly premiums to insure yourself.
This means if you are unable to work for, say, 70 days, then you would receive no payout from the insurance policy. Only after the 90-day excess period will the payout start until you return back to work, or until age 68, based on this particular policy. And finally, we made sure the policy was index-linked, so that the payout increases each year with inflation. 30 years of inflation would annihilate the buying power of any money you receive, so indexation is critical for long-term cover.
All this and the quote came in at around £28.40 a month. If you're like us and think that you can achieve financial freedom in a few years, then this seems like a very reasonable insurance product to make sure that you get to the line. As a recap, this policy was based on a 32-year-old covering 65% of a £24,000 salary with payouts lasting until age 68, with a wait or excess period of 90 days.
Other things worth mentioning. Don't worry too much if your existing salary or
I've got nothing against the big guy, but you can't sell tickets to church. I've tried. And let's face it, every penny spent on charity is a penny wasted. For-profit business is
able
always...
to do your own occupation.
Hardly excuse your blasphemy, child,
For example,
but I've
if I
always
lost
found
my ability
forgiveness
to
the
speak,
trickiest
I would
part of
no
my
longer be able
religion.
to do these YouTube videos.
El President.
Everyone
In
has
which
to
case,
do
I would
their
be
bit.
able to claim on the policy.
Sports don't
It's worth
care a
bearing in
threepenny
mind
bit
that
who
might
you
be able to
might
claim
be.
state benefits if you're unable to work, but they will
Sugar
not
or
claim
logs?
any job, no matter how unsuitable
Otherwise,
or paid
fuck
the
off.
person might be.
Where to buy? As with most insurance, the best thing to do is to get a quote from a price comparison site, ideally one specialising in
Alright, input.
We've personally tried and tested Assured Futures, and we were very impressed
Oh, it's
with
gonna
their
have to be
service
milk,
and the
innit?
advice provided. Don't just take our word for it though. Assured Futures is 5-star rated on Trustpilot
boy.
and is FCA regulated, so you know you're in safe hands. Visit the site using the link below, or give them a call with the number on screen to get a tailored quote.
Is the state pension enough at 68? No, definitely not. I mean, each of us assume that the state pension may not even exist in several decades anyway, but fear not. Hopefully, you've already built up a small investment pot that will continue to grow, so by the time the income protection insurance runs out, your juicy investments will be large enough to step in and save the day.
Using our ages as the starting point, we have 36 years until this insurance product ends at age 68. This gives us 36 years of awesome compounding stock market returns to get to the magical 500k figure. Assuming a 5% real rate of return, you would need an investment pot of £86,000 now. Remember, this is all your financial wealth, so includes ISAs and pensions. This might seem like a difficult sum to acquire for many people, but for those taking financial freedom seriously, we think it's very attainable.
Supplementary ways to lock in financial freedom. Number 1, diversify your financial capital. Financial freedom is primarily achieved through the building of an impressive investment pot. While you are young, it's important to take on a suitable level of risk by investing in a predominantly stocks-based portfolio or other assets that are likely to grow substantially over the years. This gives the investment pot as much chance as possible in growing to the required size.
When you're young, you might just want to hold global stocks, but as you age, it's a good idea to diversify across more asset classes, such as precious metals and bonds. In a way, this is just another form of insurance. With insurance products, you pay premiums, whereas with an investment portfolio, certain asset classes will provide stability at the cost of lower growth prospects.
Number 2, diversify your human capital. A lot of people, too many people, learn a skill and then try and live on that skill for the rest of their life. This is a risky and foolish strategy because the world moves so fast now that an essential skill today could be obsolete tomorrow.
Human capital is your ability to work and make money.
President,
Talent,
I am
skill, and
inspired.
experience.
I have
We will
so...
encourage
I knew I
everyone
could
to be a
count
jack
on
of
you
all
to do the
trades,
right thing.
rather than have one
If-
specialization, because one specialty puts you at severe risk. Better yet, try to specialize in multiple skills.
I recall seeing in the news numerous times that when an industry ends in the UK, such as coal mining or steelworks, there are always some unsuspecting workers who are caught off guard, wondering how they will survive. The ones that
The
make
palace
news
issued
are
a
often in
new
their
world
50s
map
with
today,
no other
revealing
marketable
that
skills.
the
Don't
Allies
be followed
and
out.
our
Make sure
comrades
you've got wide range
rejoice
of
in your
skills
support,
so your human
President.
capital is
And of
diversified.
course,
Question
all
of the day.
rejoice equally.
Do you think ensuring your financial freedom is necessary, and will you be taking a policy out? Or will you be taking the risk? Let us know in the comments below.
Thanks for watching. On this channel, we talk about personal finance, investing, and all things money. If you want to see more great
Good
content,
shit.
please
Not
subscribe
bad at
and
all.
below.
This is moneyonshackle.com. See you next time.
So right now has become a very exciting point in our family's financial journey. In the past few weeks, I actually quit my high-paying job. I quit the 9-to-5 job as a result of everything that I'm going to share with you in this video. So if you are someone who's thinking about financial independence, time freedom, you don't want to work your 9-to-5 job, I really think it's important to share these particular skills, this particular knowledge that really did change my life as soon as I applied it. And if you are interested in these topics in particular, please do hit subscribe, and also why not give this video a like. Hi there, welcome back to the Mama Farfur channel. My name is Jennifer. Before we start this video, I'd just like to thank all my memberships. So we have a membership area in the Mama Farfur channel. There is a button that says join down below, where you can actually be part of a little community behind the scenes where they get to ask me lots of questions on Q&A videos that you'll see on the main channel once a month, and they also get to help me pick next videos in that month that we're going to film. So if you do want to maybe support my channel in a different way, why not check out the join button and see if you fancy being part of that community. So yes, as I said at the top of this video, I have actually left my day job. So my last working day in the 9-to-5 job was the end of January 2021. I had a feeling it was going to be a big year for our family. Didn't think it would come that quick. So the background of our story is I've been making videos for about 3 years on YouTube, and it was all to really document a journey of paying off debt, but learning about financial independence, and really being somebody from the UK talking about it. So regardless of the fact that I'm Scottish and a female, I just couldn't find anyone at all talking about financial independence, time flexibility, investing with a UK voice, let alone anything else. Obviously there's been a surge of new channels recently, but there was nobody talking about these things, and so I picked up a camera and talked about some of the debt strategies that applied to us, some of the things we're investing in, and really how our life has changed as a result. Now over these 3 years, if you followed me from the start, you'll know about 2 years ago, my husband actually left the corporate world. So that was a big decision for our family, and it was then me earning the day job and also doing Mama Farfur that was making a little bit of money. So really as a result of learning the strategies with money, and I'm going to cover in this video, it's allowed our family to change our financial journey. And my hope is that this is something that you can look to as a suggestion for things that might inspire you. Don't take just what we did as gospel, but I really hope that it'll inspire to know that the time, once you make a plan, it usually is far shorter than you realise. There's usually a lot of extra things that life will throw in that give you that boost towards hitting your goals far quicker than you realise. So some of the key things that they do not teach you in school, and I really struggled to find information of back then, 3 years ago, was the first thing being that not all income sources are the same. Now we grow up in the UK in particular being taught the traditional 9-to-5 job is the only way to make money. You go to an office or you go work somewhere, somebody will give you a paycheck for your value and your time. You have to give up your time for money. And that's really earned income, which is one way, it's not the only way. And when I was on this journey, I was reading as many financial books as I can. I was also looking at blogs, YouTube channels, and very quickly I understood that the really wealthy people doing the things I wanted, having time flexibility, having time with their family.
Let me guess.
They weren't just earning an income. They were probably doing some form of job, yes, as I am right now, making YouTube videos and all that. But they also had multiple types of income. So the next type of income was investment income. And this was a concept completely alien to me. I grew up saving, obviously, and not having much debt. You know, my husband paid altogether £24,000 worth of his debt when we got together. So that was new skills that I had to learn. So I knew that was something we did not want ever again. But investment income, that really blew my mind. I wasn't even taught really about pensions growing up. I thought that was something you did down the line when you were old enough to save up one day to retire. And the concept of also having time freedom and not working a day job until you're 65 or 67, that was something that I never knew existed. I certainly didn't know anyone who had achieved that back then. And when I learned about investment income as a way, particularly using the stock market and bonds and investments, it changed our life. From that moment on, I was committed to find out how true it was. Could I, as just an everyday person, you know, a mum up in Glasgow, achieve that? And so that was the second income source that I knew we had to have. And we opened investment ISAs. I started learning about index funds and trackers and companies and how to even invest for lifestyle design. And we're going to cover that on this video as well. That's a key thing. But investment income being, okay, I'm going to invest a portion of my money, I'm going to give it to someone, and they're going to keep giving me money as a result. I'm going to invest in them as a business, but they're going to give a thank you. So whether I sell off that investment eventually or I get an income right now, that's my decision. But the key thing was, this was a way to make money without my time, because my time and your time is the most precious asset you can have. We are taught that sometimes it should be money and how we deal with money. It's as if it's our most precious item, but it's not, it's your time. And so when you learn to use your money and any resource to give you that time, that's when you truly get the freedom that you're probably looking for with your money anyway. So we have earned income, we have investment income. The third income source can make it again, but instead of giving other people your money, you're investing in your own business ideas and your own opportunities. Now, I'm not talking about MLMs or anything like that, but I do mean what talents, what skills do you have that you could monetize? And the focus should always be passive in my eyes here. So again, passive means that I can generate income from my business, that I do not require to give up my time for money, because that's just an earned income then. And so I focused on all three of those incomes from the word go. I picked up a camera, I started a blog, started writing books, I made products, I made courses, everything you see where I could be passive in that business. And so the strategies that people will often say go into financial independence: save, invest as much as you can, and in one day you can retire in 20 years. I'm sorry, those strategies are just not working for a lot of people, and a lot of people give up and lose faith in them because it's not the only way to get time freedom. I actually think it's a combination of these three that they're not teaching you that will get you there.
Give me some more gold. Give me some money.
It was really a couple of years, and
give me all your money.
Income now coming in, and investments and business. And then now 2 years down the line from that, I'm doing the same. And I could
give me all your money.
Chose the right time for our family. I'll talk about that in another video of why and what were the key things right now in particular. The second thing I realised that led me to actually leaving my day job and having time freedom was that wealth is not the true goal. Now, a lot of people teach you, I've covered this many times, that investments, having the largest investments you can, or You're actually looking for a real underwater menace. And a key thing here is having lifestyle design. We all want to go back to being a child when we felt like time freedom was possible. You know, we just got up with a food on the table, you could watch kids' TV, do whatever you want. And it's that we're trying to recreate, because we enter the field of having a job, you might go to university like this, and you get very quickly drawn into this is how adults are meant to be. And sometimes that's not right for you. Yes, for a lot of people, having a steady income and a 9-to-5 job feels right, feels like what they want to do. But there could be a part of you that doesn't want to do that you want the freedom that you once had, or you believe you want to achieve or capable of. And so for me, when I see a lot of people preach about having investment ISAs filled up to the max, so that one day in 10 years or 15 years they can retire, or you know their spending budget is £100 a month total, because one day they will be a millionaire. I really don't think that's lifestyle design that's going to benefit them, or even the legacy that they're leaving, or even thinking about what they're actually telling other people, that you must suffer right now in life, you must suffer to be rich, you must suffer to be a good person in some way. I just don't believe that in the slightest. And so for our lifestyle design, every choice that we make with our money is to benefit our life. And whilst we were saving and investing as being important, you know, when my husband left his job, well, that obviously went dramatically down, because we couldn't save, we couldn't invest the same amount as we were before, but that was okay because we had extra time, flexibility and a better quality of life. And when you're making any decision, you have to look at it in terms of quality of life.
Silly boy. Yeah,
yes
you are. Well, I want that.
One of the key things that allowed me to give up my day job as the last part of this journey was because though we were taking very accurate steps with our personal money, with Mama Further and my business income, as well as our investment income, we were starting to change and mature with our strategy. So for my business as a whole, we decided to set up a limited company. That meant that anything that we were making as part of YouTube, products, services, whatever I was doing outside the day job, that was then in a company that then we could decide an income in the future from.
The citizens are demanding an election.
Oh, we don't want an election. Don't give them an election, they don't need one. Nothing about that. They don't want an election, they're lying, I tell you.
And with our investment income, we went from having just index funds and trackers.
You are the dedicated one.
Cash flow investing. And that's something I'm going to cover on this
My friends, you are the dedicated one.
We're getting more mature with our strategy. Not only to have investments and pensions of a certain value, but every time we invest money, we actually look for a way to get cash.
There's your
scenes. I'm
scenes.
going to cover that in more detail very soon.
Good morning.
Having that cash flow, another passive income.
Everyone has friends,
We've got our
right,
business,
Prez? And
we've
it's
got
right to
investments
help
that are
friends,
passive.
right?
The voice of Tropico reminds all citizens to be vigilant, eat sparingly, and buy war bonds. Victory depends upon the size of the palace treasury.
Not making any money.
Money that you want, it's actual freedom of your time. And there's many ways
Give
to
me
achieve
all
that.
your money.
It's not just the glamorous way of having investments that cover a certain amount of lifestyle that you want. That's fine, that's one way. But as I've said, it's actually a combination of all these where you'll get that time, freedom and flexibility. For me, it was time choice that was key here. I do not mind having less income in the household if it means that, you know, my partner could leave work, if I could work less. And I really want to emphasise, if you have choice with your money, don't just assume you need to earn the most money you can so that you can stockpile cash to one day have time freedom. If you can live off less money and have a happier life because you've got more of your time back to do what you want, then that should be the switch that happens for you. We're not trying to run away from having money, because even if you're waiting on the stockpile in the stock market to grow large enough, you're going to have fear factors that could the market crash, Could there be a bubble? Could you lose all your money? Could it be worthless? Then where you are, you're back to square one. You have to go and get your job again and do the same process over and over. And it really is about knowing a couple of key numbers as well as you get this journey towards time freedom. The first being a metric that's called cost buyer. Now again, I do not see a lot of people talking about this. I really struggled to find any information in YouTube videos at all about it. And it's a saving amount of money, so it basically means you save up for a certain pot of money, but then at that point you stop contributing to your investments because you decide you're going to retire in 5 or 10 years, and then you can go work part-time, do whatever you want to only cover your living expenses. So let me clarify that again. Cost buyer is where you actively save up to a certain amount of money in investments. In time onwards, you do not contribute, you just leave it to grow. You obviously have compound growth, investment growth. You do not touch it, you don't add to it. But instead, what you can do is choose to only cover your living expenses with your job. So that eventually, when you've decided from that cost number, let's say 5 or 10 years down the line, this will have grown large enough that you actually have fire, you've got that income source. But during that time that you've waited, you've been able to work part-time, perhaps work voluntary, whatever you needed to do, but not need to work the day job. It's your choice then. And so this number is really key, because a lot of people just assume the only way to get there is working, investing and saving consistently. That's not the case. With compound interest, time is also a great factor here. So you have choice. So I recommend checking out Coast Buyer if you're interested in the fire movement calculation in particular. Got a couple of videos that talk about it, and I'll make sure to leave some information about them in the description below. It's key to understand as well, life is meant for right now, and I think we get very tied into when we hear financial independence and some people preaching about it, that that's how they achieved it. And look at what life are they living right now, but also what life did they live in the past. I want to model people who have a lifestyle that I want every single day, not just for one day in the future, because nobody can predict what can happen, and also we don't know if looking forward that they will actually be confident or happy with their choices today. And so make sure you pick a strategy, as we did, for time flexibility and independence that allows you to live life right now. And so for me, it has been lifestyle investing, a full picture that I commit to, and that was really key. It wasn't just about fire, it wasn't just about coast fire, it was a full package. We want prosperity in all areas of our life.
Silly
so that meant that we committed to life being lived right now. We were making choices that allowed for the healthiest bodies we could have, the best family situation, but also it wasn't just about saving a certain percentage, investing a certain percentage and hoping for one day. We actually focus on yes saving, yes investing, giving, but also cash flow investing, and I'll cover that on many more videos on this channel. The next thing that goes against hustle culture, if you like, that we see a lot of people preach about, is when you have time flexibility and freedom, you've got a couple of markers along the way that will keep you going towards your eventual goal, all leaving your day job. And for us, it was sitting there working out, okay, what are these key things that we want to take action towards that will allow us to know that we're in the right direction? And the first thing for me was I completely detached from that hustle culture that I was seeing on social media or on YouTube, and particularly are driven by working 14, 15 hours a day. You've got to work on your side hustle after work, got to give up everything. I completely ignored that, and I thought to myself, what's the key structure and mindset that I want to be as I step into this new life that I want to create? So a life completely independent from our day job, both of us not having to go out the door to a corporate life. Who do I need to be that person? What skills do I need to have? I need to have time management skills. I also need to be very good at selecting where our time and our focus goes in terms of investments, our energy and everything like that, as well as our money. But another key thing was some of the background elements that would allow me to feel as secure as possible when eventually both of us would give up our day job. And one of those things was creating a business that had what I like to call a runway. A runway is, okay, if I make a change in life, I've got kind of some room for wiggle room before I need to take off. So I've talked about we created a limited company, and what we actually did was we decided, okay, we want at least 3 to 6 months of equivalent wage that would pay for our household in that business, so that when we need the money, we can start withdrawing it as a wage. And that ended up being very quickly, not just 6 months, but actually over a year's worth of living expenses as our runway before I decided to leave my job. So not only for us was it important to have investments, multiple income sources, but we also created this runway within our business. I don't sign up for the hustle culture that says you need to quit your day job so you feel the pain and lack to make money right away, so you feel the desperation. No, you can do things exactly as how you define them. And for me, that was having this runway in our business in place, whilst also having savings of 3 to 6 months in immediate access, plus also having multiple income sources. So another thing was having a business that focused completely on passive incomes as much as possible. We have a total of around 5 or 6 income sources within this business. So not just YouTube, I've got courses, I've got books, I've got products. You might even see me do coaching once in a while as well. So there's many income sources for this one amount that goes into the business as well. And what essentially happened was I laid the ground rules to know when the value was in the choices I was making. So if I was going to not have the same value from my earned income, then the value from my business and investments was there already. I didn't need to have a wing and a prayer and just hope things would work out. I can have faith that I've done the right steps to know that I can make a leap, with also some security as well. The next thing they're not teaching you is really about the energy that you're putting into your life when they're teaching about financial independence as well. And for me, energy and how I feel about my life is key. So it's all about making sure, with my day job, was the feeling that I got around it, was I happy to do it? Did I resent it in any way? Was I excited to show up? Was it also using the skills and talents that I had to the best advantage, and also to bless as many people and help as many people as I could? And I think when I looked at my energy and what I was putting my focus and my time into, that's really where the decision process became somewhat easier. As soon as I felt like my day job wasn't becoming something I was excited to do every day, plus also having these other income sources, then it allowed me to make a decision based on the way I wanted to feel and show up in my life. It was really a case of the energy and the benefits starting to go. So yes, you can think about financial benefits and say, well, we could have achieved a certain number in savings and investing far quicker, but that's not the only criteria that matters with this journey with financial independence. It actually is, do you feel great? Do you feel you're living your purpose? Do you feel happy? Do you feel healthy? Do you feel joyful? And when you feel that energy switch,
Another
the
day.
rewards physically in your life, not just money, start to diminish, that's when I think you have to really make a key choice for what lies ahead, and ultimately if you want to do that job or not. The next thing that's really important with time freedom is also making sure you model people who are actually living their life now and have made decisions in the past that you would want to emulate. So I mentioned this before on this video, but whenever we're picking someone to say, okay, they're a case study, I like them, I want them to mentor me, or I want to follow what they're after, make sure you're looking at their whole life. So I see a lot of people who teach about financial independence, the strategy, the traditional strategy, as in save, invest, that's all that you need to do, just save for this big number. I look at the rest of their life and I go, well, I can't really relate to some of the other choices you've made. I can't relate to sacrificing 10, 12, 15 hours a day and allowing my family to just be in the background because I'm hustling to get to this number. I want to be present, I want to be the best wife, best mother, best content creator that I can be, and so that requires me to feel a certain way. I also want to make sure that the people that I am emulating, are they similar to me? Can I relate? Have they got a similar background? Have they got a similar structure of their family? Have they got similar goals? So again, when you're choosing something that you're wanting to achieve in your life and you're looking for the people to maybe give you a helping hand, make sure they also have a similar structure, a similar lifestyle design that you would want, because you're going to learn their habits and their skills that they have put into place. So if there's some habits that you don't resonate with, then they're maybe not the right person for you, and that's okay. That's your job to make sure this is personal for you, but don't just simply do something because somebody else has done it. Make sure you're following the right habits that you believe will allow you to grow and develop as a person and your money journey as well. So thank you so much for watching today's video. I'm excited for what lies ahead. We've made a big decision as a family, but I'm so excited, and I really thank you for all your support.
So excited, and I just can't hide it. I don't know, but I watch you.
And also some of the things that I I've learned through building a business, investments, and some of the things that I'm developing as a person as well. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you very soon. Evening everyone, evening. Hi there, how you all doing?
Shut up.
Who's the boss? I'm the boss.
I'm the boss.
Nah, I'm the boss.
I think I was thinking about the real competition for places that is hotting up now around Gareth Southgate's England squad when you see the depth of the list of English goal scorers in the Premier League this season. Chris, you'll really enjoy this section. We talk about England's great goal scorers. But we have an international football expert, of course, with us. Dominic Calvert-Lewin at the top of that list with 13 goals. Only Son has scored as many from open play in the Premier League this season. Is he now a shoo-in, do you think, Jamie?
I think so. I think, as I just mentioned to Patrick there, about players who have maybe just not quite been in the England squad before, so, you know, I was thinking, you know, Callum Wilson or Danny Ings. I actually see, I would say, mainstay of the squad. I think on the back of the season,
boy.
Scored, I think he's something
A good deed,
I'd say Harry Kane.
Yeah, no financial.
This season. And when you see the goal, the standout thing, I think, from Calvert-Lewin this season, how many goals he gets. You talk about a penalty box or a 6-yard box striker. 8 goals in the 6-yard box, really. And he's another one, though, as you mentioned with Patrick Bamford, where a couple of years ago he was playing for Everton and he was getting criticised for not scoring, but he was actually getting in the team because of other things. Probably same with the Bamford last season, but now they get the goals, that's when they get the credit, because goals get headlines. But the coaches and the players who play them don't forget the other things that they bring. I remember the performance from Calvert-Lewin. I think it was against Manchester United a couple of years ago when I think United was 4-0 up a couple of years ago. I'm not sure if he scored that game, I might be wrong, but his performance that game gave him a chance away from him. You don't want to play against it. And even if you've got that, you need the goals to go with it. You do need that, and that's where the attention comes from. Hence why he's in the English squad, and now talking about Patrick Bamford making a shout as well.
And also, Ollie Watkins, you could have been describing there, the way you're talking about someone who really works defenders, and he's added goals to it as well now in his first Premier League season. He's up to 10, I think, now. Chris, is he something that's made an impression on you?
Ollie Watkins, yeah, I watched him the weekend. I remember, obviously, at Brentford. I think he's excellent before Brentford. So you see players like this making their way through, stepping up, and you wonder now they're going to affect the game and can they handle it. It's not just the goals he scored either, Ollie Watkins. He's another one, his work off the ball. You know, when he keeps running, he defends for Villa, he defends from the front. Just like Patrick Bamford was saying there, and Marcelo Bielsa demands that from him. Dean Smith's got Ollie Watkins doing that from Villa. When he's losing the ball, he reacts. And when they're in trouble, he's always back. He's almost playing in the midfield sometimes, just to get back and defend. He's all around game, Ollie Watkins. This season, I've been very, very impressed with him.
I think what you were just describing is 2 strikers, but simple enough, hard way. I think they should be all motivated, very young strikers that are actually listening. What actually people in football like? What people in football don't like, and this might sound ridiculous, if you're a player who scores goals and doesn't do anything else, you're giving yourself a problem, because no one scores every game unless you're Ronaldo or Messi. And I think the days have gone now of someone saying, yeah, I score 1 in 2 or I score 1 in 3, but they don't do anything else. Because when you score, you're playing 10 men. And the thing about that, it's almost, if you have a striker like that, and
the newest threat raining death from the skies. The palace assures all its citizens that no country thinks Tropico is worth sending rockets against.
Oh, to get 1 goal, it puts aside the game, but football now demands players who, them days of going after this job, just look at the wingers, we're talking about Rafinha. The answer's simple. You get back with your fullback, you're man to man mark, and you're going to end up at left back, half of you. So you do. These days now, these top managers, rightly so, they will not accept anyone who doesn't put it a shift, no matter how good you are. And if you don't go there saying who does things extra, I think it's true to say that. If it's not even a bonus now, that's what you've got to do.
That's particularly the case in international football as well. Same thing, no free rolls. No free rolls, you can't, you know. The only free roll you get is probably a ham roll for your breakfast. Because there's no, you know, you cannot count top level football. Any professional football, at any level, you can't carry one player. You can't. And that means we see more and more now, there's a new jargon, defender on a low block, playing through the lines. It's all this new information, but actually it's been around forever. It's just a different way of describing what's happening. More and more teams, top level, don't defend with 8, 2 backs of 4, they defend with everybody, especially when they're under the cosh. So your central strikers have got to be deeper, and they've got to be doing the running. You know, they're the first line of defence, really. So Jamie's right, he's not just a striker where you say, yeah, he scores 1 in 3. Well, he's not very good without it, but you know, you get a goal, the football's not quite like that anymore. And it's definitely international football. I've been there for 4 years or however long. But even with us, every player had a job and they didn't have the ball. Even in Gareth Bale, who was our star player, Aaron Ramsey, brilliant with the ball, but they knew when we didn't have it, there's a shift to be put in. You go for a shift in 90 minutes and you can't switch off, because when you play against the better players and the better teams, if you carry one player, they'll find out where that player is the weak link and they'll punish you for that.
This is Football Index. What's your football knowledge worth? Bet on the app or visit footballindex.co.uk to find out.
Good penetrative run, here's Bergwijn. Been recalled tonight. Lamella with the header, fantastic save from Olsen, and Lucas Moura.
Does anybody else, I don't think there's any fair, there's a lot of Formula 1 fans. Has anyone got any questions they'd like to ask Danny while he's here to talk about Formula 1?
There are city news. Surprisingly organized vandals have damaged civic buildings in Tropico. Not the alarm. Categorically not a rebel attack.
From Australia.
This is behind the scenes.
The task is done. The citizens are demanding a Tropico, my beloved homeland, my adoring people. With sorrow I have watched you toil, but have faith in me.
Himself as one of the fiercest drivers on the track and one of the most entertaining away from it. The self-styled Honey Badger has treated Formula One fans to many awkward interviews, infamous celebrations.
In the fourth quarter of this year, we plan to go public at the New York Stock Exchange. Today, you may still have a chance to invest in our company.
But I'm a man, and I can't think of any shopping expedition that could possibly take longer than that. Shoes, I've got some, I don't need any of those.
President, it seems that German...
Got a chair. Not a property. Eventually, I bought a present for James. What about St. Battenberg's, or is that too German? It is too German, isn't it? Sandwich spread. Potted meat. Beef spread. Must have ginger beer in Christchurch.
Ginger beer's a bit racy, don't you think?
No, he'd love it. He lived blind and used to rub herself with it. There it is. Peruvian, Greek, Brazilian, Holland, Dutch. Grown in the UK.
With the shopping finished, it was time to demonstrate yet another feature.
Everyone has to do their
Come on,
bit.
go down one side of the fence to the other. Clown's lunch, Stilton or cheddar.
The sunshine, bring me love. Give it some hides.
What's that bit there for? Is that bottle opener?
Try oil.
It's a bottle opener. It opens beer. We want them. That's worth having, isn't it? What is it? Scrapey, brushy. You need a brush. Well, okay, saw the brush off. I can't buy just one end, can I? Well, don't do. See, there's just one end. Yeah, but you might as well have a brush as well. No, you do need a brush. And then not good, it makes you look even fatter. Jonathan Ross would never wear linen for that reason, because he's getting quite poorly.
The future?
All done? I had this nightmare again, Presidente. No, not the penguins. The destruction of Tropico by falling goblins.
Your suit's ready. Here it is.
Thank you. That's very nice.
And so, at the next station, we decided you should have one too.
That one seems closer.
Correct. Incorrect. Exactly, agree. But I've got even more correct. Yes. Perfect.
Roll it out on the desert floor.
You're home. Oh, James, Le Creuset. See, Hammond would hate this because this weighs more than a tent in his mind, which it does actually. A lot more. And it weighs more because it is a quality item. Exactly. Pocket trowel. Pocket soap. Here we go. Pasta spoon. Yeah, good idea. I find that bottle opener a bit lightweight. Yeah, more expensive. That's what we're looking for. See, look at this, James. This sort of thing Hammond would think is a chair.
That's all you need. That's your whole stove. That's it.
There's a gas, too.
I assume so. Well, for two, you can get a small chicken in there or pheasant.
I'm sure
We're
that
getting there now.
So that close down to that.
Presidente,
Yeah.
I am in...
More shoppers? To be fair, this is a very big shopping centre. It's as easy to walk in as miles. That reminds me. I need to get cat food.
Election is a landslide, Presidente. The metaphorical kind, Presidente. I know you always keep your promises, but the citizens today can be very exacting about what answers a fulfilled promise. Thank you, Presidente, for attending to...
And in the shop, we found a bit more than Kit Kats and pies. What is it? Caramelised cocaine. Now, that's something you don't see in every motorway service station. Wow. You take it and then you talk for hours. That's not bad. In fact, the sweet is made from coca leaves, which are legal and used by locals to ward off the effects of altitude sickness. Hammond found them very Moorish.
Earrings. I don't think earrings are right.
Do you know what myrrh is? Myrrh.
Genius is undeniable,
Gold
Presidente.
frankincense and myrrh. I don't know either. Do you have frankincense? Frankincense? No. No. Okay. Ah, you got myrrh on it. So you got Calvin Klein, Hugo, Boss, but no myrrh.
Buenas tardes. ¿Tiene una carretilla?
The man says this isn't real grass, it's synthetic. You'd never know. Rashi Nongi. The Rashi Nongi.
What are you saying?
I'm trying to find you some food that isn't fish.
Oh, thank you.
This is... Okay, is it? Right, well, I thought it was a marrow. Places like this, because they're haggling over $1. It doesn't matter to you. It doesn't matter, and it matters a lot to them. Just pay the price.
Yeah. How much? How? I was thinking 25.
Having stocked up on luxury goods, we went in search of some more practical items. Oh, hello, cooking.
Yes. Something for getting rid of flies. Flies. Taser. I don't like any of that. I won't buy those. Certainly won't buy that.
I went to buy some more dead fish. HIV what?
I may not get out of the car. Chaz and Dave, molto popolare, maybe,
The hotel room I ever stayed in was in South Beach in Miami. And what I'm going to try and do is replicate the decor there in the back of my Beamer. Morning. Do you have any white cotton?
Oh. And it's got a cockerel on it.
Yeah.
I have one of them. And the kettle. Thank you.
Don't get much money here, am I?
Deal.
It is a great day for our...
There we go. This is half
Remember,
inch.
loose lips might sink ships, so take your lips
That's
with a
quite a lot,
Tropico
isn't it?
made
That's more than I expect. I didn't think it was
Won't
this
regret
long.
it.
Ages. Tell you what we'll do. That'll speed things up. I need some money.
The wars are over, Presidente. I will kiss you.
Ah.
Treason to do so.
New history books arrive today with the true story of how El Presidente won the war.
Proxy, aid to the Presidente of Santa Tonta still provokes me.
Yabo, penultimo. He calls. Your island smells awful, and your people are all sick.
One, two, three. Yay! Oh, sorry. Did I hit you in the You actually hit him in the plums. Did he go for your plums? He does that. He has to just go for the plums. Look at these. They've managed to make Allen-headed bolts out of plastic. Yeah, because I believe That's a disappointment. That's wrong. One thing I've learned is that the premiums for 17-year-old girls are half what they are for 17-year-old boys.
Seriously?
Half the money.
Well, there's a top gear top tip right there. If you're a 17-year-old boy, you need car insurance. Slice your penis off. I would have done.
I did. Yeah, I know.
No, that explains a great many. James was being so stubborn, I decided to bid on his behalf.
1,500. I mean, did he just bid on that, you asked? Well, that's your number, I see.
I believe we have a cure. Remember what we just worked out. How can we forget it? This is the new Scirocco TDI. It's pretty fast. It's a 6-seater car, you may remember. It had 3 seats in the front and 3 in the back. Well, Honda say it's been such an enormous success, they're dropping it.
I actually think the problem with this car was with the picture they sent us this one, which is when the car came out a few years ago. Nobody wants to drive around with a small girl's severed head stuck on the ground. Less than 10 miles. Less than 10 miles. 17. No, less than 10. 30. Less than 10. What a cockhead, honestly. What do we want though?
You've got a surplus of work, but no work for us. Don't you just love watching the boats leave harbor?
Not very good at this. Mind you, compared to James. Acceleration, not nationalisation. The banks, although obviously it's easy to make a credible case for state ownership of other industries, such as utilities. Catching! Hit the banks, not our tax! You mean your patent tax, ladies and gentlemen, if you were confused? From a hot breath in the armed forces are woefully under-equipped for the job. Ladies and gentlemen, we're now coming up to the last slot.
Contact. Comrade.
It's nice. I don't want that. Seriously, what do we do? Because I don't want it different. I don't want it. 550, 600, 700, 600, 750, 800.
Scramble this channel immediately.
900 quid. 1,050, 1,050, 1,100, 1,150, 1,150, 1,200.
So you're really even more cross.
So you're driving the nose. I'm driving the
Who is winning the Cold War? A special report from Canal Uno reveals the answer. El Presidente. We
None
never
of that is going in. We're not doing a comedy carry-on funeral. We're doing a real funeral.
You wouldn't ask him, because he's not interested, to cook you any food. You wouldn't ask me to do the washing up. You wouldn't ask James to direct a porn film.
Well, how can you say that? I think I'd actually direct quite a good porn film.
If you directed a porn film, it would be you arriving at the house of the woman in the stockings and the negative I've come to fix your boiler. And then you just fix it.
3, 2, 1, go. Seats go down. Can you stop interfering with my time? He can't get in. He can. He can't. He doesn't know whether to get in or mate with it. No, Alfie, come on. Come on. What do you do, Alfie? No, that's no deal. Sit up.
There's a new sport in the Tropican state that is called Rebellion. However, Alice warns that without a license to play, Rebellion is illegal.
for James.
Granddad didn't do the cooling system, and so it can be a bit... It's all falling out.
Invest in Tropico, President.
Can I come down now?
Comrade, read it.
Maybe we'll have converted it. Maths. Can't talk to him, he's doing literally sitting a maths exam. But I bet the conversation in the bar at night's fun. I did more maths than you today. No, you didn't. I did more maths than you.
Action. Pull out.
James!
What?
I've fallen out of the basket thing.
Anyway, as men, we all know that you should never ever buy a woman something with a plug on it. Yeah, we know that. I did. What? I did. You bought your girlfriend an electrical appliance? Yeah, I got her a power drill.
James, she's a ballet correspondent.
Well, that's what she wanted. She said, I want a power drill. So
No, she said that, James. Would you know nothing? Women say they want to buy, but they don't. They want soap.
No, yeah, but it's impossible to buy soap for a woman.
Hey, no, hang on. Soap. You can't buy
Soap is soap.
Then it was Jeremy's girl with the big, heavy Volvo.
Oh, for God's sake!
That maybe started there.
Oh, come on! Oh, God. Mercifully, the drive finally leveled out.
Come on, you stupid load of Swedish men. Oh, my God.
Don't make too much noise, we're waiting around, mate.
It's the anarchy flag. What did it? They were stolen by anarchists, and they buried it in the summer house. Job done. Jeremy decided it would be quieter to drive out of the wreckage. No. That's no damage. Well, I think that's maybe pushing it a little bit. Yeah, that's...
And maybe there's quite a lot of damage there. An awful lot. Hammond had possibly picked me on this one. What was yours?
50.4.
50.4?
66 people.
My mum and dad, they didn't wake up. It's a good job there.
You're not terribly popular with...
Then it was my turn. I did it on the engine because the engine's quiet. Because the interesting thing is to speculate what James would have been out doing until late as a teenager. How long does choir practice go on?
I can't actually see where the drive goes.
Is that the control?
Steady. And...
For God's sake. No. You're so unfunny. God above. James had lost this challenge. Went badly. Hundreds of left in it. Sit. Please don't do that. I'm not convinced by that though, because I think electricity is a mystery. It is. I don't actually believe in it.
You don't believe in electricity?
No, nobody really understands it.
What you are witnessing here is Asperger's made real.
Is that what makes my wee smell funny?
No!
Oh, that's asparagus.
2 new diesels, 271 and I think
270.
277, 270. Come on, nobody gives a pig's arse about all that diesel stuff. it's a new XJ. The important question is it a proper
The
Jag?
package
So what
has
do you mean
been
is
franked.
this
If you
car slightly caddish? That's what you actually mean?
Yes.
Is the person who drives it a bit... Oh, what's the word? I'm not quite sure how to sum it up, but is this sort of person who would go away for a weekend with his wife to a hotel, some romantic place, and spend the entire night flirting outrageously with a waitress, and it's okay because he's got it. Yeah.
And then you can get away with anything.
Future shock. Can it happen? Canal Uno has determined it is possible for technology to change so fast that humans couldn't handle it.
About
What a relief.
James decided to get some practice. While we talked
President,
to the girls.
I've got a motorbike.
You see them, it's rubbish. I'm much better. I did one yesterday in Glastonbury, and it was brilliant.
And that's him being
That's him.
I get a huge
He doesn't know whether he just can't do it. He can't do it, and he's got no penis because it came off once.
I think it's in there.
I can feel it.
Yeah, it's like a little tube.
There.
Yeah.
That's little. Right. Now pout. Quite a crack lid.
I changed from first to third, and my free selection gearbox, which means technically I short shifted. When I say short, I don't mean that.
The citizens are demanding election.
Short. No, I meant I short shifted. I wasn't being clever.
Walkies.
Oh, that is a miserable looking dog.
It's making me sad just looking at it.
Tropico. Some call it the Valley of the Shadow of Despair. But to me, it is the Valley of the Shadow of my home. Our spirits cannot be broken. So rise, O Tropico, and despair no more.
London.
Know this, my people.
Your handbag's in the
Nothing
way.
but contempt for criminals, especially the type that get caught. When I headed out the police force, you were no longer...
The enemies of freedom are everywhere, even when they're not. That is how dangerous they are.
We got lost. We were going along, and all of a sudden he hit the dashboard with his clipboard, and he said, "Look out! There's a small child in the road." And I said, "No, there isn't." And kept going. But there wasn't.
So you were just being pedantic?
You were incorrect.
Meanwhile, back in PC world...
One.
I didn't mean Jeremy's car was rubbish because it's a midget. I just meant that's what it is. It's an MG midget. I'm sorry.
James was next.
Yes, do it. No.
He's Mr. Cool.
Oh, nice.
Down the back straight, it was hard to see why he bothered with a helmet. Oh, well, Mum, I've just been to the post office. They've got a new stamper. But then, as he approached the girls, all became clear.
They're hot for James May right now. That's not the worst bit about those six-seater cars, because it could be worse if you had your wife in the front and both daughters, and you sat in the back.
Oh.
But you do see that occasionally. You see the mother in the front, and then there's a bloke sitting in the back seat.
It's tragic. It's the most pitiable sight you can see.
She's effectively saying, "You've given me the baby, now get in the back."
Please, traffic, please. I can have a rush hour in Mallorca. Nobody does anything. Get up, throw a donkey off a tower block, sit in a plastic chair by the side of the road, go to bed. Where does a rush hour come from in there?
Come on, put some gold in this factory.
I'm sure the good citizen...
A listener wrote in asking, "How do I know if my neighbor is a spy?" The palace responds,
I'll put some gold in the workshop now.
to be here because everyone does 5. It's not going to be here because everyone's on drugs. That's all just flops. Al Gore says that's gone, so it's not going to be down there. That's full of spiders. Signposts are all full of gibberish. They're all communists.
Victory is yours, Presidente. I knew that you would succeed. And not just because I personally filled in all the ballots, then counted for myself.
Now, the problem is, you see, there was a fire at our storage depot. You might have seen it in the papers. And nearly all of our props got destroyed.
Yeah, and the police are saying, as you can see here, that it was arson.
Yeah, but, I mean, who'd do that? It's not like we've ever upset anyone.
I know. Well, there was the vicar whose tree I rammed in the Toyota pickup truck. Yeah. And everyone in Wales, and everyone in Birmingham, and everyone in America.
Yeah.
And while we were making this series, actually, we managed to upset the Coast Guard, who said that we've ruined the English Channel. I know who did this. Fifth gear. Hang on, why? Can we just look at the evidence? Just last week, okay, it was in the papers, they rolled a Bedford rascal van. There it is, okay? A year ago, if we look at a shot from Top Gear, we rolled a Bedford rascal van. They're now saying that one of their presenters has hurt his foot. That's not an accident! We have proper accidents on this show.
Do you think they're a bit jealous?
Yeah.
I have had a note from your accountant.
Tiff, Vicky, stop burning our things.
Yes.
I mean, us three all smoke, okay? So let's be proud of the fact is that we all do, but we don't crash. Well, 2 of us don't, so...
Actually, I've given up smoking as well, mate.
Well, there you are. You can do 2 things at once.
I can multitask.
You can multitask?
Yeah.
I've seen you putting your makeup on.
Yeah.
And driving?
And driving.
I've seen you multitask when driving.
No, you can't talk about that on the
Fuel reset. Pumps are reset. That is off. Neutral. Engine start. Yes. Excellent. Strapping in. That one must go in there.
Hi! Oh dear. Nice view here.
Just thought you'd stop and admire it.
Yeah, I might need your help.
Why?
There might be a problem.
What?
Fuel filler cap won't open.
Never mind. See you in Italy.
No.
Yeah. Is this your second filler?
Yes.
So mine's got a 110-litre endurance fuel tank.
If you two need to get in my slipstream when we're going up the hills, because I know you don't have much power.
At no point have I lacked in power to keep up with this thing. At no point. 415.
522.
It's how it uses them. It's how it deploys them.
I'm with that.
Constantly
Top
there.
speed?
175.
Top speed?
185.
195.
Yeah,
Just
well,
like the same.
This is probably quite a good car, I'll grant you that, but it's half-hearted and limp-wristed. It's not a real luxury supercar, and neither is it a proper lightweight.
James, a little compromise might be useful in your car. Be honest.
No? I love it.
On the right. The Lambo and the Porsche are very, very close. The Aston Martin seems to be very, very slow. Didn't expect that in the racing car. So we're carrying on my bicycle tomorrow?
Because these wheels need stolen, obviously. Well, they did say they've got a secure car park that nobody could break into. And I can see exactly what they mean. There's absolutely no way that anybody could possibly get into this car park in any way, shape or form. It's actually very simple.
Thinking.
Do you know my car doesn't have a key or a lock?
Did they say wait by not fitting locks to it? Now it is time. It is time to do the cool wall. Unfortunately, the cool wall was one of the major casualties in our fire, but we will persevere.
Yes, we will,
yes.
And we're going to kick off with this.
Yes.
It's...
Isn't it gold?
No, that's more an alpha.
That headlamp out here,
That's an alpha. What do you think that is?
It's an Audi.
How empty is your life? You are able to determine that this is an Audi. And Vicky Butler-Henderson burned the
Contact.
She
Comrade.
thought she'd flummoxed us. But it doesn't matter because we're going to move on to something else that isn't... But James May hasn't been burned! Hurrah for that!
Buttocks, crushed testicles, sweaty servants of snowy beads. They're beginning to go slightly faint as a result of light dehydration, i.e. ozone laning, and my nose has been turned to dust. It's going to kill me.
Here he comes, finally. Oh, testicles.
We come all the way here in these cars and you it up because you're up. We will find people.
The war may be cold, but the weather is going to be hot, hot, hot. Stay tuned for Canal Plus meteorological report.
Beautiful. Why did you think this would be good, you big dumb?
Trust me, Italy is the place. It's
Shut up!
the fast car. It's...
Right to the bottom. We should have just come there on a bus.
In order for the ferry to unload, James had to disembark first.
Hang on a minute, bloke, so it's not quite right.
Reports of downtown vandalism are greatly exaggerated. The fashionable new distressed architecture style is apolitical and proves nothing anyway, the palace says.
Despite the horns, James wouldn't rush his pre-flight checks.
Master switch ignition, pump, pump. That's off.
Meanwhile, in the Aston... The Stelvio Pass. 15 miles of asphalt spaghetti draped on an Alp. It was stunning. Should we do it?
Costs £28,000 more than a standard 430.
No, it brings us back to those lightweight supercars that we were reviewing last week, because what really annoys me is that you buy a Ferrari 430 and you think this is as good as Ferrari can make a car, and then a couple of minutes later they come along and go, no, actually this is.
It's going to cost an extra £28,000.
And if you give us, give us another £28,000, you'll have a car that's as good as we can actually make it.
Exactly right.
I think it's a bit like that Sainsbury's Taste the Difference cheese.
Cheese. Hold on a minute.
No.
No, it's not like cheese.
No, that's not cheese. No. This is an analogy. But you go into Sainsbury's and you see cheese, and it costs a certain amount of money, but then next to it there's Taste the Difference cheese, and it's a little bit more expensive, but it tastes really nice.
Eat a bachelor life.
No, but what I want to know is, why don't they just make all the cheese like that? Or do they just make that cheese and then make something that's a bit worse, price it lower and say, here's some rubbish cheese for poor people?
Gear news. You know, we revealed last week they'd burned our furniture. Well, it turned out that this week, one of their presenters caught fire. Jason Potato.
Plato.
Well, actually, blamed Potato now. He was 1,183 horsepower, not 62.8 seconds, and this week it set the fastest ever speed for a road legal car, 256 miles an hour. Can you believe it? They say the body is solely carbon fibre and weighs 131 pounds if you don't count the doors, the bonnet and the boot. I weigh 131 pounds if you don't count my arms, legs and head.
Company that makes
pleasure doing business with you, President.
They're urging us all to check our brakes, make sure they're working properly, because according to some statistics from the Department for Transport, 1 in 3 accidents happens because a vehicle fails to stop in time. Whereas I thought it was actually all accidents.
They're all the stuff you'd expect. They have briefcases with Porsche written on, with wallets and pens that you can buy for £3 anywhere else because they've got Porsche on them. They're £3.5 million
An
each.
official statement from the palace says there is nothing to be alarmed about. The sense of growing bread is perfectly normal.
For the Porsche enthusiast. Boy, have you got to be an enthusiast. Porsche designed bike. Mine won't start properly.
No, of course it won't. It's a Porsche, persevere. No, what are you doing? Other way around you. Ah.
It's a 911 Porsche. Hot bit goes at the back.
You don't look right with that, but have you noticed over my shoulder?
Look at him, I've never seen.
With the chair, the pipe, we're building up the perfect picture for you, mate. I think next week...
I'll tell you something.
You see he's pointing.
That's not gone well. Mind you, why was I hurrying?
I'm just gonna bring a solicitor, do my last will and testament, leave everything to the lifeboat people.
I can't believe they're asking us to go across the channel. But I'm following Jeremy's pickup, and it looks like a man with a pickup who's stolen an outboard motor and a couple of oil trucks on the way to a fishing trip.
It is like the West Indian dope smoking team practicing in the car.
Hello?
Eventually, the excess phone did burn off, and soon we arrived in Denver.
Or Slackwater, yeah?
Slackwater is tomorrow about 1 o'clock. We shall go then.
Yes.
We'll go to the pub now.
Sound idea, yeah.
We'll go to the pub now, and then tomorrow, 1 o'clock, that'll be us at Slackwater.
Because the water's slack. What's slack water?
Have you ever considered the meaning of life?
No, but I think we should. And I think we should...
And now's the time.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
This is ready. I've checked it for water tightness. I've got all the sheets, which is the correct nautical term for these pieces of string, in the right position. It is all absolutely ship-shape.
Cigar factory's ready, President.
That's exactly what I would... Do you know that's because we say blithely, I'll have one sugar. How many are there?
1,
Yeah.
2... Amazingly, all 3 of us were floating. But when I say 3...
It's going down! Meanwhile, back with Captain Pogosh.
Solid.
Yes, Sam.
We were leaving the harbour.
You can't see what's coming, I can!
I can just see Sky Sea! Sky Sea!
Our intentions are to go across the channel faster than Beardy Branson. I want to do that for a job.
Bitch!
I can't do gently.
Well, that's not round, that's backwards, you pellet. I don't want to go that way now! Go left!
And then...
Oh, not another one.
What makes the Cold War so cold? The lack of love for El Presidente. Remember, loving El Presidente is your patriotic duty as a Tropico.
The new Rolls-Royce Phantom Drophead. As I'm sure you know, on Top Gear, if a car spends too long sitting around on the deck of an aircraft carrier, it eventually gets launched off the ramp thing down at the end. And this definitely isn't going to fly, because it weighs 2.6 tons. So, and other car manufacturers are currently spending millions and millions of pounds on research into hydrogen fuel cells and hybrid drive, but Rolls-Royce spends the same money in its ashtray design department. Look at that. I didn't feel conspicuous in it. The thing is, I believe deep in my heart that I look good in it and it suits me, because it's stylish and it's contemporary.
Every time I see you, those are the words that pop into my head. Stylish and contemporary. After other words like, for instance, beige, stand a stair lift, the wall, have you any more? Homosexual.
428
428
4009.
4009. This puts me through to a laptop in India. There we go, the microphone ready. I'll put the speaker on. Right, so it's 8, that's the location number, 8744. You can't cross it at this point. There we go, there we are. My credit card, last four. I can't read that. I need glasses. You've all got your glasses.
Give it to me, I'll read your number out loud. All of it.
Reading glasses. Thanks, easy. Oh, yes. They're not reading glasses. No, there we go. 7.
This is to park your car.
You haven't finished yet.
Eh?
Somebody give me a registration number of one of these cars. That Ferrari, what is it? V12, V.
But there's never been anything to help old people park. Until now. Because this Lexus LS600 can park itself.
Now, here's basically how it works. At the back of the car, there are sensors in the bumper that know where its extremes are. There's a tiny little camera here that looks behind it, and when Hammond presses a little button on the screen, it will reverse and steer itself into that spot.
Yep, it's that easy. I just engage reverse gear. I can see the cameras here. I press some buttons and stuff, and then it parks. So here goes. This is going to go well.
Well, Hammond, I'm sorry to interrupt, but this is the instruction book that I have here, okay? For the sort of command system. All of that is for the park assist. Do you think you can do it without reading it?
Well, you...
Let's see if I can. Go on then. Go on then.
I don't do anything. I just take my foot off the brake, yeah?
Yeah, you take off the brake and then it goes.
I'm not doing anything! I'm not doing anything! I'm not doing anything! It's just the car! I'm not! Oh, bugger!
The trouble is, none of these cars are really small. They are, in fact, massive. 40 years ago, car makers could sell you something much smaller. The original Mini, for example. Or the bubble car.
Remember,
even these aren't small.
war is peace.
Not really.
Freedom is slavery.
Not compared
Ignorance is strength.
to this.
Coffee is pineapple juice. And
Pure
Tropico is the
350.
future. Stay tuned to Canal Uno.
That is 54 inches long and 41 inches wide. It is listed in the Guinness Book of Records as the smallest production car ever. And what I'm sure you're expecting me to do now is introduce Richard Hammond.
What I've got down here by my right knee, in the cabin, making an awful lot of noise and generating quite a bit of heat, is the 49cc engine from a moped. Top speed rather depends on how big you are, and
I'm so
actually
glad.
how much you had for breakfast. Realistically, even the skinniest, shortest chap with the whitest of teeth will struggle to get past 35.
The Top Gear team so enthusiastic for any car. Lads, I put a Koenigsegg down in the car park. Got a new Ferrari down there. Not interested in this. Even John Humphreys dropped by for a look. Hammond, no. What can't you just clean? Really, 4,000 to whiten them. 4,000 quid.
The citizens are demanding. Want to get on everyone's good side? Slash taxes and worry about balancing the budget after the next election.
The number of claims that have resulted from last month's floods. The total
There's
bill
not
is
enough money in the
estimated at
treasury
about
to pay for
£1.5 billion.
healthcare, sanitation, crime safety and so forth. You can repeal the tax cuts and make them all happy again. 2 easy wins for the price of one.
Cadet from 1963.
So that's the same age as...
The same age as
you?
Yes, but it's much better nick than you. It was £1,200, I had much change with which to buy many beans. How much more simple can you get? It's got 2 moving parts, and it's been here for 44 years.
I love the Speedo.
I do like a horizontal Speedo. I really do.
Where's the engine?
It's there.
Oh, hang on, really? It's tiny. You pulled out of its slipstream.
Oh, it's really coming up. 105.
Still truck.
105.
Still truck.
105.
3,000 rounds, 3,500 balls cleanly.
Oh, yeah. That's better.
Don't know what that is. Oh! Oh, Oliver, you got a cold. Listen.
Let me get to the point.
If you run out of water, you will die. If your car breaks down and you can't be rescued, you will die. If you run out of food, you will die. It's like driving on a creme brulee. There's a primeval ooze covered with a thin layer of salty crust. If you have thin tyres, you will break through that crust, get stuck, and you will die. So it advises to fit flat tyres and remove as much weight as possible before setting off.
Protect them. No points in the air. Well, Alan's walking around his car muttering about how he needs all of this.
I know exactly what he's doing.
He's formed an emotional attachment.
You'd be like to say to him, could you cut bits off your wife? Still, as you can see from the tyres' grooves, I was doing better than the Merc.
I'm looking at James's rear wheel and he is digging in a long way.
I tried to help him along.
Really helpful.
Well, here's a Mr. Beetle, James.
It's waiting for you.
This is excellent. Why don't all cars have no doors? When I come to power, I'm going to make it a rule, because this is just better. Which, as you can probably hear, has got a throttle that's jammed wide open and I can't hold it on the brakes. Hammond, move! You're going to have to go faster and I hit you. What? Oh, God!
Thanks, well,
Look
help
right.
yourself to my brakes.
Statistically, every one of those people could be a spy. Be vigilant and report all strange activity, especially from family members.
Just hit the throttle, that's tick over, look. My leg's not on it.
Your buccaneers hanker to weigh anchor.
Come out! Come on! Float! Float!
I'm sure the good citizens of Tropico.
Oliver!
Which year was it? 1981. It's just driven all the way from Zimbabwe to here without going on a road. Take a bit. Yeah.
There, you get out of the way of the pub.
I shall move it for you. If you ask politely, I will move it.
Yeah, that's his life. They're all grown ups, honestly, they do this a lot. I can't believe how quickly that thing gets up the line. 80. 90. 100. We're level pegging. He's on roller skates.
He went out there to Africa, and he...
Hang on a minute. What? Because I think we can improve this with an old Top Gear prop. Hold on.
What old Top Gear prop?
Just hang on, I'll find it.
Well, you're an old Top Gear prop, how do you know?
Oh, that.
So honestly, this will improve it immensely.
I'll start again.
Would you? Yeah, hang on. Wait for it. Right. Okay.
So, it's the story, really, of a young chap fell in love with a 43-year-old local cadet called Oliver. And they would sit for many hours under the stars, telling each other they had eyes like claws of moonlight. And now he's decided to ship it on Saturday. Eat back to England, haven't you?
Yeah, I am. He's coming home.
Are you going to live in the country together, you know, like embroidered church kneel, running an advert of a jolly policeman in his tall helmet, and they're putting him on the back of a bus. We've got it here. There you are. And it's fine, except for where the bus's
Presidente,
exhaust
your
pipe
aid
is.
is appreciated.
I've been thinking about selling stuff. It's my happy place. How about chocolate? You.
Designed by the same people who brought you the McLaren F1, the Caparo has a 3.5-litre V8 race engine, which delivers 575 horsepower. That is a huge amount in a car that weighs about the same as a patio heater. And say that to unlock it, you have to run your finger down his face. Like that.
Whatever.
And that if he were getting divorced from Paul McCartney, he'd keep his stupid whining mouth shut. It's called the Sting. Make sure that we aren't accused of bias toward the car. It will be driven by the slowest man in the world. A man with no known sense of direction. Him.
Now, as we race across London in the car and on the bike, he will catch a bus around the corner. There he will get an underground train to Monument Station, and from there he will get on the Docklands Light Railway, which takes him all the way to the airport. So, are we ready? Yes, ready?
Meanwhile, the Stig saw a huge red car approaching, and he got on it using something called an oyster card, which is useful if you have no understanding.
Of an 18th century style neoclassical monument. Well, the wait is finally over.
You have on the river, which is the rowers. They reserve a special kind of hatred for people with engines on their boats. They are the cyclists of the waterway, the Hammonds. You want to lift? See, she hates me.
Mary, hello, Captain Clarkson.
Where are you?
Hammersmith, Broadway.
No way. Where's Hammond?
I don't know, I tried to ring him, but it sounded like his face was rubbing along the road, so you may have had it already.
You realise, James, I have to be you, but I want you to ring with that car. Don't get lost. Right, time to ring the Stig. See how he's getting on. We've given him a phone, but,
Christian motoring there, that man wanted to pull out, let him pull out. What comes around goes around. He who is last shall be first.
The package has been...
Bus driving, bullying Nazi. Why don't you just wait and give your passengers a better ride?
No! No! You filthy, foul, stinking...
Hammond! Hammond stopped swearing long enough to answer the phone.
the Stig in a close second was now making his final train change.
Inside, there's all numbers. There'll be a bit of smoke coming out the top in a minute. Keep watching.
15 minutes after the Stig, James arrived. Thank you, James.
What have you done?
The car, as an entity, lies smashed and broken in front of us because of you. Me on public transport.
Unit on the track, and that doesn't happen at service stations. Luckily, my structure was still holding. No.
Our comrades rejoice in your support, President.
Combat. Read these in.
Well, I think the no contact rule needs a bit of a tweak, but we are onto something here.
Oh, what's that? It goes red when it's hot. And then in there is your bedroom.
Wow! You see, I don't think that's going to work because, as I proved, if you don't strip all that stuff out, it'll be too heavy and you'll come last.
No, James, you see, you're wrong because you haven't seen this thing's pièce de résistance yet. What you have to do is come down here like this, open this up, and there you are. Wow! Now, what I'm going to do now is just lower that down. Check it out. Oh, that is brilliant. Yeah. James, we're trying to prove that British Leyland occasionally made good cars.
You're not helping our case here. Most interesting car they ever made, and most radical, and most modern.
Oh, look at the brown interior. Oh, brown.
It's brown and browner. Brown was a 70s colour. This is a 1978 car. It's very interesting. It's in good condition.
Why is it interesting?
This was the first car in the world to obscure its wiper spindles under the bonnet.
Are you suspicious about your neighbor? You should be. Traitors to Tropico lurk in every corner. Be vigilant. Report anti-Tropican behavior immediately.
A requiem to Longbridge from the Top Gear British Leyland trio. It's come back to Longbridge.
It's on strike.
Finally, I got past my stable door and we were off. Well, one of us was. I'm happy to drive this all the way to the south of France. And I'd be happy if I got there and I found out the bottom of swing tracks. Because then I can drive it all the way back again. When you're on a motorway, it's smooth and civilized, quiet as well. It is magnificent. Some say that he knows 2 facts about ducks, and both of them are wrong. And that 61 years ago, he accidentally introduced Her Majesty the Queen to a Greek racialist.
Sir, yes,
All we
sir.
know is, I'm going to the tower now to have my head cut off. And he is called the Stig. Thanks to the Myra test track, top secret places where the motor industry tests all its secret new models. It's just outside Nuneaton on the A5 between Hinckley and Atherstone. Just before the A444. If you get to Fenny Drayton, you've gone too far. You need to back up. Unfortunately, got smoke. Some oil had come out and was sort of on fire, but no matter. Your time. Yes, my time. 1 minute 11 for that.
Yes, and...
What?
1 minute 12. It was?
It's impossible. Look, even with Ray Charles at the wheel, you could get this round fast.
But you didn't.
Come the wrong way. What are you doing now? You idiot! You stupid, long-headed
His foot's still on the brakes, look. I'm not sure. What's she doing? That's the quickest I've ever seen him move. How's that? You're there. £100. Thank you. What a machine, the mighty princess. Yeah. Genuinely pleased about that. Watch this. I've never seen that before.
Plane touchdown to... Do not panic, President.
Happily, the wheel spin generated so much smoke, the car was hidden from view. I therefore claimed I'd done it, and then it was Hammond's turn. That was the door. Home fun. Still, I'd only lost one thing. Two things.
What?
Why don't you just find a bit that's not being exposed? Yeah, he's done it right, he's doing it right. About at the same speed Terry Wogan went round it. Nevertheless, James was doing brilliantly. I'm going to pass Hammond! Yes! In fact, the princess could hold its drink so well, he did a full lap. He's not chasing it! I can't believe it! And then he passed Hammond again. Yes! Yes! I've just lost it. You've been lapped. Doesn't happen every day. Lapped by Captain Slow. Lost in Princess full of water. To the beach. There we go. First morning. This fella will probably make a mess of it. Mine's the stick. Oh, look, he's completely messed that up. I'm going to call him Bruce just to keep him simple. Proper Aussie music there. Right into Chicago. Right, he's hanging the arse out. You don't want to do that in England. Never know what might happen. Hammerhead. That's a shack where I come from. Not a bloody corner. That's a proper name for a corner. Okay. Judges for this, okay? You know who the judges are? The American Green Car of the Year. One of them was Jay Leno. Oh, he hates cars. Yes, apart from his large collection of Ferraris and Porsches, he hates them. Yeah. Carroll Shelby. Oh, he really hates it. Yeah. No, Carroll Shelby was the man who put the 7-litre V8 in the ACH to create the Cobra and spends his time now supercharging Mustangs. He does, yes. He puts superchargers on Mustangs. But the other judge was, he's called Jean-Michel Cousteau, and he's actually Jacques Cousteau's son. I'd love to have been in the party when they were discussing it. Shut up, you goddamn Frenchy, cheese-eating surrender monkey.
Poor bloke when he walked in that room. Yeah. Everything very exciting around my judge, and they were there drinking petrol. I know. Charging their chair.
Shelby be going, I don't know what a hybrid is. It's like country and western.
And it's absolutely nothing like the cars we know today. For a start, it has this killer steering arrangement, which is exactly the sort of thing you find on a canal boat. And it also only has a single front wheel, so presumably if you're a bit too vigorous with this, the whole thing could topple over.
Performance? Not great. It has a one-cylinder,
Our
1-litre
comrades,
engine, which
we
gives a top
rejoice.
speed of 9. And with a 1.5-litre fuel tank, its range is only 5 miles.
That's not the brake! Its controls were hideously complicated, but there were some good points. This had twice the power of the bench, 2 horsepower. But most important of all, it had 4 wheels. So what they've accidentally designed here is the quad bike. Which had been translated from French, because the car was made in France, into English. Literally. For making the carriage
The Eiffel Tower arrived in its new home.
Presidente, your aid is appreciated. With your help, we double our armed forces, redouble our efforts, and halve our expectations.
Held the mover till his starting. I can understand why this is better than going around looking at the bottom. But how did anyone ever figure out how it worked? It's the Stevens Duryea, which has 8 clutches. And what kind of dullard would think that that was brilliant?
Brilliant.
What's brilliant?
This gearbox. So this is a 3-speed constant vent. So there's a constant vent gears, and it has selector forks, but it doesn't have clutches. So that's like the brake pad on the classic gearbox. In fact, solid shaft over the input shaft or the lay shaft. That's 1903, and that is basically what...
Right, I'm going to try and pass it a bit down the straight.
I've never had a complete novice go out in one of our cars before. It's gone quiet.
And no wonder. The straight line speed I could cope with, but in the corners I just couldn't think fast enough to react.
We can't bank on saving the planet if people don't have any interest in being green.
What use is power?
Western plows. What to do?
I've done a lap, just one more. To mark the occasion, the technicians let the engine play its party piece.
No, that's an aggressive start.
Let's put it to second gear.
Now, let's have a look. Where are you using the Stiggs line or... No, that's where the Stiggs scissors should go. All the other F1 drivers do it different than that, go out wide. Into Chicago. Yeah, get 1 minute. And bearing in mind, this is on a track covered in water and oil. 44.7.
No.
Seriously, I have to know because everybody out there, including, I have to say, even the Stig, has to know, how did you do that?
I don't know.
No, because that's 40, he's done a 44.4, and let's be honest, he knows this place like the back of his... I was going to say he hasn't got hands, but you know what I mean? He knows this place extremely well, okay? You come down on a wet, oily track and do a 44.7, and you weren't even... we saw you singing.
Jeremy, meanwhile, had to install a long-range fuel
Rubbish!
Presidente, have you seen...
Got a hammer?
Darn it.
With that not done, I checked on hammer. Look, you put that in your mouth. Okay, squeeze. Squeeze it in. Aha! Does that work?
It's not brilliant, if I'm honest.
Oh.
Yeah, it's small.
Can't do anything
Dr.
about
Home
that.
wasn't quite as professional as that. Nor was our catering. Nor was our car. In fact, nothing was.
We haven't got this.
We haven't got that.
No, we haven't got that. We haven't got these. We haven't got these.
What is this, a diesel?
Yeah.
Children.
What is it, an M3?
Your
So this is an
prosperity
M3
is my
BMW
honor.
with a...
Your solidarity
Is it a diesel?
faith. And I gracefully accept your
Please be
love.
nice to us.
You are my
Amazingly, the Stig went faster at night than he had in the day and put us an astonishing 42nd on the grid.
a shining example of Tropico's ingenuity.
Don't touch it.
My fingers now throb with the blisters of progress.
Thanks.
Palace announces today new tax scheme allowing citizens to pay extra for preferential treatment during search and seizure actions. Sign up today!
And I've lost sight of them already.
Not if. As
Well, last long doing that sort of thing. But they could. Oh, come on.
imagine that because it was conceived by a Dutch billionaire and built on an industrial estate in Banbury, that it's all a bit half-cocked.
A good leader listens to
Yeah, okay, the Daihatsu is considerably cheaper. Its insurance will be 8, not 20. 46 miles per gallon, not 9 miles per gallon. More doors, more seats. Look at this, the Ascari. It doesn't even have inertial real seatbelts.
Yeah, no, I hear what you say, but the Ascari
I
is
hear what you
much
say.
faster.
It has! This is for me! Wow, what is it? I guarantee you won't guess. This is yours for Christmas. Because here it is. It's a wobbly-headed model of the former president of Nissan USA. His head wobbles, look.
I don't care!
No, look, it says on the back here, he's the father of the Z Cup. You just pulled the wobbly head off the former president of Nissan USA!
Nobody's ever said that before.
I don't suppose they have.
Now look what's happened.
You've ruined it!
Well, exactly those homes, I quite like them. Okay.
Sorry, I dropped it.
Sorry, I dropped it as well.
It's like the Who!
Happy Christmas, everybody. Marley was dead.
Everything's ruined.
I love this car.
Get out of the way!
That'll be Jeremy then.
Here I come! This is Mercedes' answer to the M3. It's the AMG C-Class and it's not a car. It's a complete animal. Oh, Christ.
I'm sure the good citizens of Tropico intend...
7. So that's one better.
That's 2 minutes.
What do you mean it's 2? It is actually, you're right. Is the captain arrived?
I believe so. In an Audi.
This Audi is a very, very good car.
Couldn't agree with you more. I remember when I drove this a couple of years ago. I actually believe
Flying
that
cars
was
have
one of
arrived
the
in
greatest
Tropico.
engines ever made.
Current
But
flight times
you
are less
cannot
than a second,
ignore the
but our
engine
scientists are
in that
working hard
Mercedes.
on
You just
improving
can't.
that.
Hey there,
Nobody
Prez!
saw
Boy,
a
do I feel good
6.2
today.
litre.
With 6.3
Stocks
written
soared
on the side.
overnight.
That's just history.
I love it.
Yes.
Our comrades, rejoice in your support,
Desperate for a
President.
victory, James
And
got
of
out
course,
his tape
we
measure
all
to try and
rejoice
find
equally.
any area where the Audi was best.
I'm just measuring the steering wheels to see whose is fastest.
Meanwhile, Richard hauled me into the circuit's conference suite for a PowerPoint presentation.
Right, what I've got here is a graph showing the torque curves for each of the 3.
You're only doing this on a PowerPoint, so M3
Election
drivers
is
know what
a
you're on.
landslide, Presidente. The metaphorical kind, not the kind that accidentally reduces the size of the
See on this
workforce.
graph, 40% of me wants a shepherd's pie with peas, 60% wants lamb chops. That's a year on year.
Presidente, I know
Useful
you always...
information. These are the torque curves for each of the...
My gear stick's got the biggest knob diameter by half an inch.
With a glittering Top Gear awards ceremony held here in front of whoever's bothered to turn up.
Yes, it's where we celebrate all that's good and bad in the world of cars, here in the glittering West End of Guildford. Yeah.
Pulling away. Let's pull away some more.
Try that. That's more like it. Come on. Come on. Yes. Come on. Yes.
Presidente, have you seen the people who toil in the sea?
When I press this little button.
You bought us some time.
This one.
You've broken the machine! You've broken it!
say good afternoon. This is still BBC Southern Counties Radio, and if you're a little bit bewildered, we are not the usual hosts. Ordinarily, if you're listening in Sussex, you'd have Richard at this time. In Surrey, it would be Mark. Instead of which you have Jeremy, James, and Richard. We are the guys.
Where are they going? Why have they gone that way?
Kind of sitting in this
Yeah, we are. We had a bit of an argument the other day, and we thought that we might be able to do a drive time show better than people who normally do drive time shows.
Oh, this is going well.
It wasn't as good as perhaps it might have been.
No.
I've already realised how difficult it is with only 2 hours and what is that, 54 minutes to go.
Can I also say something? As the three of us have done some radio in the past,
Have you?
I'm supposed to know how it all works in here, but to be brutally honest, I'm struggling. However, our lines will be open throughout the 3 hours, and do you know what? Can you hear that noise?
Yeah.
That's all the travel people.
What?
Laughing
You've
at
left
us,
the
yeah.
microphone open.
Yeah.
You forgot
That's
to
what I mean.
shut their microphone.
It's going to be, what you're going to have is a lot of sort of freestyle
You have
radio
one button
going
to
on.
push.
Yes.
I know what I'm doing. I worked on Radio Cumbria.
If you're listening and you'd like to call us on 08459 570057, usual number 08459 570057, maybe you'd like to talk to us about cars. I suspect that's a subject that's going to be coming up more than once between now and 7 o'clock. In fact, Jeremy, you're going to talk about cars right now.
Well, sort of, yes. I've been looking at the front
package
of the
has been...
Argos, which is a newspaper, and the story begins, parents using four-wheel drive vehicles to bully their way through the school-run traffic have been blamed for massive carbon dioxide emissions, which I have to say sounds awfully far-fetched. Apparently the story is that figures show West Sussex is the 7th worst county in Britain for buying green cars. And this, according to the paper, causes pollution far higher than the national average.
Nuclear missiles, the future of warfare or planet-destroying insanity? A new report from the palace says classified.
Perhaps because they think it's a data symbol, but either way, the only time they go off road is when they mount the pavement.
Yeah, well, you say that, but there's another story I was reading in the paper today about councils trying to get people to shop people who are driving their 4x4s on highways and byways out in the countryside. So these poor people can't win. Let's move on to the environment, if I may. What's the problem with the carbon dioxide emissions for them?
Well, that's the Argos story you're quoting, but in general terms, it seems to me that if a vehicle, the cleaner a vehicle is, the less you should have to pay to drive it, and correspondingly, if it's a very polluting vehicle, you pay more.
But do you know what percentage of carbon dioxide produced by the Earth is produced by man?
I'm not off the top of my head now. Are you going to tell me?
3%, yeah, 3%. So 97% comes from nature, 3% by man. So when you need stuff like, massive carbon dioxide, and Liberal Democrats are forever telling us that there's huge man-made impact on the environment, it's actually a very small amount, really.
Well, I hope you're not disputing what the world scientists in unison say about climate change.
Some time, President. I'm not sure how much or what it costs.
Yeah.
And for God's sake, don't tell me.
Well, absolutely, but carbon emissions have doubled since the Industrial Revolution.
No, they haven't. No, they haven't.
All right.
Man's contribution has doubled. It's gone up to 3%.
The amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has doubled since 1760. So, and that's got to be down to what we're doing as a human race, isn't it?
Yeah, well, undoubtedly, we're all to blame, and I must go and commit suicide straight away. Stop talking to you now.
No, thank you very much indeed for coming on the show.
Thank you very much, Lord.
Yeah, Jeremy, it's quite a nice world we've entered here, and we might try and keep
I just offered to commit suicide.
If you're listening, wherever you're listening across the 2.5 counties, 08459 5700. Is it 3.5 or 2.5?
East Sussex, North East Hampshire, and Surrey.
I'm dreadfully sorry if I missed you out. Give us a call, 08459 570057. Maybe you'd like to have your say on anything that Jeremy just said. I suspect. I hope it's not too boring and serious though. Meanwhile, James, to your next big
Well, welcome, Pop Tickets listeners, etc. It was quite confusing because I was hoping we'd have Wang Chung done for today. But I think we've got the Lead the Boys on bar, according to this.
Yes, the boys are back in town. This time I'm going to play the whole thing. I used it as kind of an intro.
You pressed the wrong button.
I'm slightly
to talk over this until they stop talking, which is now.
No, it's not. You got it wrong. You're a rank amateur. No, it's not. They're reaching. Never reaching himself. No, you're listening to BBC for Southern Counties Radio. Richard, Jeremy, and James. Brilliant. Consent.
Tennessee there with the boys are back in town, and it's now 4:16 time for the news headlines read by James May.
Hello, yes, this is James May on BBC Southern Counties Radio. The Home Secretary Charles Clark says he won't resign after his department's failure to check whether 1,000 foreign criminals should have been deported on release from prison. Downing Street has given support to the Deputy Prime Minister John Prescott after revelation that he'd had an affair with the Secretary, so it's obviously okay, and you have the Labour Party's blessing to go and have one yourself. The former Labour
Comrade,
leader, Lord
read
Kennedy,
these
has been
encoded
banned from
instructions.
driving for 6 months for speeding. The summary. Now this is the weather summary. Warm and sunspell today. Local this time is overnight in Pekin Tavern. Going to say it's great to hear you on the air, and he wants to know when you're going to road test me. There's your FK. No?
We are. I've already done it actually. We'll be showing that in a couple of weeks now.
As I say, James made the one thing that does not news there.
I don't think you.
Well done.
It's not actually travel as such. What I've got though is a revolution in the way that traffic news is brought to you. Because instead of telling you where the traffic jams are, I am going to give you the registration number of the car that has caused them. What I've done here is
The palace today announces a new mascot, Hermano Mayor. He's big and he's your brother. He'll always keep an eye on you, and that's a promise.
In the region. Now what's happening is we've got an outside broadcast truck at Godstone. It's firing its signal up to a satellite 22,000 miles in space, back down to White City in London, then firing down to a switching station in Tunbridge Wells, and here we are in the studio looking, and if I can swing the camera around now, we can get it off the main pictures. I can even zoom in. I know, look. There's Alison.
Hello, Alison.
Hello, Alison.
Hi, Jeremy.
Hi there. So you can now zoom in on that picture there. I'm sorry if you're obviously listening to this on the radio, but you'll be able to see this on TV eventually. If we can zoom in on this picture here, and you can zoom in, and we can actually see, so we can get our cameraman now to zoom in onto the picture. Not there, you stupid man, onto the picture. There, Alison's picture. Now, can you zoom in? There we are. So now we can start to see some people driving in the middle lane. For example, there's a man there in an Audi TT. Unwise choice of car, I think. Absolutely. Yeah, he's got the roof down. He's in his middle age. There's another one. Yeah, no, middle-aged drivers should not have convertibles. There's a motorcyclist. Oh, it's gone. I just touched the screen of the motorcyclist appeared to follow. Can we just zoom out there? This is marvellous news. We can see where I'm actually looking there. That would be very helpful.
This is a great help for the drivers of the Southern.
No, but the next time we do a traffic bulletin, I'm going to be able to actually see the traffic jam. We can see who's caused the accident. I can give you the injuries they've suffered. I can give you damage to the car, their registration plate, and everything.
So what you've done, genius that you are, Jeremy, is bring pictures to the radio station. Well done. And Alison, you'll be there, won't you? So presumably when Jeremy doesn't know where it is, you'll be able to tell us. Will you?
I will indeed, yeah.
Marvellous. Thank you very much indeed. Is there anything we do need to know right now? Is it fairly quiet?
A couple of incidents on minor routes. Do you want me to tell you about those?
You may as well while you're here.
Couple minutes.
We'll talk to you in about 15 minutes. If you have just joined us, sorry, it's 4:20. You are still listening to BBC Southern Counties Radio. We've got Richard, James and Jeremy, and we have guys from top here, sitting in for Richard or Mark, who you'd ordinarily be listening to right now. And I think it's gone well so far. I think it's been
I don't think it has.
We hope it's been good.
the record was there for later on, and I was supposed to play some rehearsal, but it's gone. Take it easy with computers.
Well, it's also bad news because it's the sport next, and we're not going to be able to do that, aren't we? Let's face it.
No. John is on the line from Storyton. Hello, John. Nick from Horsham. Hello, Nick. Where's my callers gone? Don't let me down now. I'm told I've got callers here. Hello, where are you? We've got John and Nick.
El Presidente announces a new Snitch for Cash program. Report something suspicious today, and you could win fabulous cash prizes.
Hello, John. Hello there. Hi, John. It's Jeremy here. Hello, Jeremy. Oh, the professional. What are you calling about?
Well, our MP from Lewis always infuriates me every time he opens his mouth, I'm afraid.
Why is that?
Well, he never defines what a 4x4 is.
It's a good point. I mean, a Fiat Panda is a 4x4. I don't think anybody would...
You know, I run a Range Rover. Proud to. It's off-road, home caravans, horse boxes and whatever. I run it on gas, but due to the environment at my pocket. But my wife has got a V70R all-wheel drive. Does that mean my wife has driving a four-wheel drive estate car, or I'm driving a Range Rover?
Yeah, I'm afraid you both, according to the local FD, you both have to commit suicide. There's nothing wrong. I mean, what you're doing is you're supporting local industry there. I think you've got a Range Rover. We're not local in British, please. So, yeah, Volvo's a good car. Yeah, and you know what? The amount of difference I could be making really to the planet is so infinitesimal. Just because two wheels more are being driven.
I think you're absolutely right. When people want to get work on it, somebody can help the planet. They make some soup for poor people and stop hanging out about lots of
I happen, unfortunately, also to be one of your co-presenters.
The citizens are demanding elections.
Yeah, well, it was going quite well, and do you know what? I've got the button. I know which button it is, and that's by. Hi, Nick. How are you?
I was trying, John. If you're still listening to this, I decided to...
People of Tropico, it is I, your Presidente. You have showed your faith in me, and that faith will be rewarded. Every Tropican will get what they deserve. Know this, my people. I have nothing but contempt for criminals, especially the type that get caught. When I heavily arm the police force, you will no longer fear the lawbreakers. Our efforts are aided by our communist comrades, to each according to their need, from each according to their ability. Equality for all, especially those who are more equal than others. So vote El Presidente for the future that you deserve. All of you. Viva Tropico!
Let me be.
And I believe, Richard, you have more pieces of paper being put in front of you than you can shake a stick at.
Well, no, it's moved now. It's in front of you, John.
Oh, no, what we've got here is a travel flash, actually. My thanks to Janice. She tells us that in Dorking High Street, a caravan has come adrift of the car blocking one lane. The police are attendant. Police, are you armed? I hope they are. They can take it out and just shoot the driver, because frankly, if the caravan come off, how embarrassing is that?
I don't know what's worse. Still having it attacked.
So there's that everybody holding up the whole of Dorking High Street.
It's been a bit of a day and the cowards.
Sorry, the barrels all around the High Street. Oh, you're standing up, yeah, all over.
It's 25 minutes past 4. Nothing's gone wrong for a good 4 minutes, so I think we could be on a roll.
Absolutely. Now, many people were writing Michael Schumacher off. Haven't won a Grand Prix since the middle of last year, and that was a bit of a fluke. But his performance in the San Marino Formula 1 race at the weekend has caused...
The number one sign of being a spy is voting against El Presidente in an election. Do not make this fatal mistake, citizen.
Michael Schumacher. It's not about you.
I think he's the greatest racing driver that ever lived.
He just needs a machine. Ferrari cannot got his motor.
What Michael Schumacher, I think...
I'd like to think.
...well is performing adversity. I was once told by his, the man who talks to him on the radio, Ross Brawn, that most drivers, when you talk to them, go concentrating so hard on just driving the car. You talk to Michael Schumacher, he goes to now listen, can you get the jet ready at 5 and I'm going to go crazy. He's just thinking about leaving the game.
The election is a landslide, Presidente. The metaphorical kind, not the kind that accidentally reduces the size of the workforce.
Top 10 worst songs ever written. Because, you know, can I just say, do you mind? I don't care. My pictures are working. I'm able to report to you now, ladies and gentlemen, that junction 12 anti-clockwise on the M25 is grinding to a halt. I've also just seen a Land Rover Discovery driving rather stupidly up the slip road there, nearly taking the nose off a Suzuki Jeep. If you're in either of those cars, we'd love to hear from you on 08459578857.
Yes.
And also, you and the big blue lorry, can we zoom in on that one? Can you just close that to get hold of everybody up? Absolutely. Alice, are you able to zoom in on any offending drivers that are down there for me?
Can't actually get any closer.
Well, it's okay, that'll do. We'll get our cameraman to zoom in on that picture and I'll see if I can do some information. Where are we here? This is North Park, the M25. Somebody's driving a smart car on the outside lane. I have to say that. Very, very brave. Now, who's this exactly? We're coming down in a Volkswagen van. Now, you're leaving a 200-yard gap there. Now, close up and your tailgate station. No. I don't know, but we should. Are you able to swing the camera around to the right, Alice?
Yeah.
Can you do that? Because it would be quite nice to see if we can see what actually causes this jam. Oh, this is marvellous. Somebody there in a BMW X3, plainly mad, shouldn't have a driving license. This bastard glass road where lorry drivers put it on you. Oh, look at that. Now, that's an Alpha 159. But can we zoom in on the map? It's a woman. You see, this is what I'm now looking. Are you listening to this? Have you got red hair? You're driving a blue Alfa Romeo. Can you wave to us if you are? No, she's not one of our listeners. I think she's listening to Radio 1 in there.
Should we move on?
Yeah.
The only one that is done.
We would, actually. We could have got us away. Oh, there's somebody in a Hyundai. Got it off.
It's a long one, isn't it? Should be over in a second.
The weather's fine. The weather, it's a beautiful sunny afternoon, light cloud, going dark about 8.
Here on the best blower in the world on his day is eating Shackland.
Presidente, your population is... And so, Presidente, you proved that houses are the enemy of equality. For a short time after the war, houses were internationally shunned. But as the Cold War raged, houses came back into fashion, being warm and sheltering, and including cupboards and other useful storage spaces within which to put things. And so the door closed upon the Isla de la Casas Modestas place in history, with a creak, not a slam. You have done it, Presidente. Victory is ours.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe for more content. Thank you.